awakening of the glyph. The quiet before the chaos. In a quaint village nestled in a valley of rolling hills, the day began as peacefully as any other. The first rays of dawn kissed the thatched roofs of cottages, and a soft mist clung to the cobblestone paths. Birds chirped, and the distant sound of a brook added to the serenity. Inside one of these cottages, Tanya woke with a start. Her breath quickened as a faint glow emanated from her hand. She held it up to the morning light filtering through the window and gasped. A strange glyph, pulsating with golden energy, had appeared on her palm overnight. "What is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The faint hum of the glyph filled the silence. Tanya's thoughts raced. Her life as a simple villager had never hinted at anything magical or extraordinary. Yet this mark carried a weight, a purpose she couldn't yet comprehend. The ground trembled. As Tanya studied the glyph, the ground beneath her began to shudder. The vibrations knocked a clay pot off a nearby shelf, shattering it into pieces. Tanya steadied herself against the doorframe, peering outside. Villagers ran in every direction, their faces etched with panic. The cobblestones cracked and faint golden light seeped through the fissures. Overhead, the sky, once clear and serene, churned with ominous dark clouds. Before Tanya could process what was happening, the glyph on her hand flared brighter. The hum turned into a resonant tone, almost as if it were reacting to the disturbance outside. Shadowy figures descend. From the swirling clouds, shadowy figures began to descend. They were formless, yet menacing, their shapes shifting like plumes of smoke. The air grew cold as they moved closer, spreading dread among the fleeing villagers. Tanya stepped back into the cottage, her heart pounding. Her eyes fell upon a small, ornate dagger her mother had left her, an heirloom she'd never thought she'd need. Without hesitation, she grabbed it, her trembling hands tightening around its hilt. The glyph on her hand pulsed again, sending a surge of warmth through her body. It wasn't fear she felt now, it was determination. The ancient forces awaken. The ground cracked wider, and towering spectral figures emerged. They were unlike the shadowy beings descending from the sky. These ancient forces were made of swirling energy and glowing runes. Their presence filled the air with power and reverence. Tanya's grip on the dagger tightened as she stepped out of the cottage. The villagers had fled, leaving her alone to face the towering forces. "Why me?" she murmured. The glyph on her hand flared once more in response, and a voice echoed in her mind. "You are the chosen. The glyph of eternity has awakened to restore balance or bring ruin." The stand. The shadowy figures and the ancient spectral forces seemed locked in a silent standoff, but Tanya could feel the tension between them. One of the shadowy beings turned its gaze toward her, its amorphous form coiling like smoke in the wind. It lunged. Tanya raised her hand instinctively. The glyph erupted with golden light, forming a barrier that deflected the attack. The recoil sent her stumbling, but she managed to stay on her feet. She glanced at the dagger. "If this glyph chose me, I won't let it down." With a roar that surprised even herself, Tanya charged toward the figure. The glyph's power flowed through her, amplifying her every movement. As the dagger struck the shadowy form, light and darkness clashed in a burst of energy. The journey begins. The battle was brief, but enough to drive the shadowy figures back into the clouds. The ancient forces, their duty seemingly fulfilled for now, sank back into the earth, leaving only faint glowing runes on the cracked ground. Tanya stood in the middle of the deserted village, her chest heaving. The dagger in her hand was warm, and the glyph's glow had dimmed to a soft pulse. She knew this was only the beginning. The voice returned. "The balance of the realms rests with you now. Seek the shard of eternity before the shadows rise again." Tanya looked toward the horizon, where the first light of the sun had broken through the clouds. Determination filled her once more. She would find the shard, face the shadows, and uncover the truth of her destiny.